Hello there. Welcome back to Good Jim's Off-Road Adventures. You know, we're just going to be doing some things kind of around the shop, the garage, the home, the trailer, things like that today. I've got a bit of a list of things that need to be done. I need to put, this thing back together at some point. Some things to do with the toy hauler. Before I get into any of that though, I think I'm going to put a screen on this garage door opening that's, well, it's behind you. Of course, I'm talking about this area right here. Normally I put a screen up in the springtime going into summer, and it's not to keep the bugs out, it's more of keeping out all of the debris from all the neighborhood trees and weeds that like to blow in. The garage is faced in such a direction, it's kind of more or less east that way. But when there's wind, the typical wind direction, which is that way, all the neighborhood debris just kind of blows in. So the screen isn't really to keep the bugs out. You know, the California desert's not a lot of bugs out here. It's more of to keep the neighborhood trash out of my garage when there's even just a bit of a breeze. This morning I had to walk in and turn fans on and blow a bunch of stuff out, and it's not because of this door, it's because the other door over there, it's got a gap in the bottom. Stuff blows in overnight when it's windy, or during the day when it's windy, as it did last night when it was windy. I'm not going to address that today probably because I need to get a seal for the bottom of that door, which means a trip to town, and I don't feel like going anywhere today. Anyway, I think I'm just going to go ahead and start with the screen. Now normally I like to do the screens that Velcro along the top, along the sides. They have weights in the bottom, magnets down the middle, and well, they don't last more than a couple months. You may have seen them on the channel here and there over the past couple of years, but I've gone for a different kind of screen this time. I've got this one on the Amazon website. Can I open it? One-handed? Oh, great. It's a box within a box. Should have expected that. We'll need a knife for that one. Okay. Oh, it's got instructions that are in color. That's pretty neat. Okay, well this one, as you can see, it's got a bunch of tracks, which is kind of nifty. Yep. Okay. There is some Velcro, but not as much. Wow, it came with some sort of measuring device. That's interesting. Some more tracks, and then of course the fabric, which is nice and weighty. I like that. Oh, and it came with a fake screwdriver. What am I supposed to do with that? It's cute. We'll keep it. So this screen, garage, this screen is different in a way that those tracks mount. See, here we go, look. I don't know if you can see it, but we've got some breeze, and now some of this junk is starting to blow in. Anyway, this screen, the tracks mount across the top, and then the screen hangs like a curtain, and it's got little rollers or whatever, so you can move it from side to side without having to, undo Velcro up the side and roll it up, and Velcro's coming off and it just won't stick to anything, and you end up tearing stuff up because when you roll it up, it still hangs down a little bit. You get caught on things going in and out of the garage. Like last summer, I think I was rolling the Arctic Cat in or out and got it caught. I don't remember, but I tore it, is what I'm saying. So this one, I'm hoping, will be better. It still has weights in the bottom and magnets down the middle to close it, but it works more like a curtain. So I'm hoping that'll work better. I think I'm just going to go ahead and get started kind of figuring out what the instructions want to say to me. Hopefully they're mostly in English anyway. And we'll just go ahead and put it up, I suppose. Let's see what they say. I don't know what they say. Garage screen door user manual. It says short nano nano plastic track. That's funny. They called it a nano plastic track. Garage door screen 8 foot by 7 foot times 2. That makes sense. 2 nano tracks. Those must be the ends, and then 3 more longer ones. I don't I've got a lot more than 5. I've got closer to more than 5. Oh wait, there's 4 metal track pieces. Well, that's interesting. Okay. 5 end caps, 40 rollers. Interesting. Push pins, probably useless. Some screws. Gotta love the screwdriver. Why, I mean, sure. Some hook tape and a scale paper. Interesting. Assemble, hang it up, do the thing. Okay. This side for plaster walls. Well, we're not doing plaster concrete. Wooden door frames. Ours is a wooden door frame. All right, I'm going to sort out some of these bits and pieces and then I guess just see how they go together. Well, straight away I'm a little confused. Let me just show you. This says there's 2 of these short plastic things, 3 of the longer plastic things, and 4 of the longer metal things. Well, after taking everything out, I've got 12 of the metal things and 11 of the longer plastic things and 2 of the short ones, which is correct. And that's a lot. Oh, okay. If you read the small words, okay. 2 small ones, great. Number 3, okay, so that's not the quantity, that's just the part number, sure. 11 pieces of longer nanoplastic track, okay, and that's 11. Metal track 12. Okay, yes, 12. Well, I guess that's what happens when you just can't be bothered to read all the words on the page. Let's see how we put it up. It says, install end caps on the left side of the metal track and tighten the end cap screw. What's an end cap look like? I guess it looks like those. How does it know what side's the left side? If both ends are the same, can you put it on the right side and turn it over and then it can be the left side, or can you know what I mean? Never mind. Well, I've gone ahead and not read the steps of the instructions, and I've assembled the whole track. I thought it said assemble the whole track on the floor, which the floor is all the way down there. You know, that's just too far for me to bend down. So I used the back of the Arctic Cat as a pretty poor excuse for a table, but it worked. And you can see I've got the entire track just kind of put together. It's got a nice arc to it. Anyway. Well, I discovered after looking at the instructions some more, because I'm thinking, how in the world am I going to do that by my... It only wanted you to do like the first 1 or 2 and then screw it up into the door frame and then just kind of assemble the rest of the bits as you go kind of deal. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Thankfully, everything just kind of slides apart and nothing's screwed together, glued together. Why am I dark? Let's turn this way. There we go. Anyway, nothing's like fastened, so I'll take off the couple off the end over there and we'll just start mounting these things up there. Well, maybe now you can see why I like to have a screen door. You can see all these little things that just blow in with a little bit of a breeze. They're seeds from somebody's tree, not mine. I don't have any trees out here that do anything like that. Like I said, the screen is really to stop that from happening, so I can have the garage door open. Now that it's getting warmer, I can have the garage door open, don't have this junk blowing in. Anyway, let me set it up here, I guess, and we'll start putting things on. Okay. So this just kind of goes up here. Like that. Groovy. I'm not going to run that all the way because I want to get the next piece on and continue. You might be wondering why I'm just walking back and forth for every screw and piece. I can't be bothered to put a table here, I guess. Well, you can tell I've got the whole track put up, and fortunately I didn't have to trim it. Thankfully the wood is warped on the garage here, so the top is much closer to the length I need. Didn't have to trim it, just a little bit of wood trimming here, just because it was like a, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch too tight, but that's better. And then of course installing all these, and those work pretty good. I'm pretty surprised at how easy those go. So I guess we're gonna go ahead and put the curtains. They just kind of snap on here. Let's go see what that's about. It may sound odd, but the curtain smells a little bit like plastic. And yes, I do realize that was a pretty dumb thing to say out loud. That's fine. And there should be 2 of these, and there are 2. And this looks like it's going to be for the right side, so let's grab this one, which is probably for the left side. I'm only saying that because there's magnets here and the Velcro's there, which will stick somewhere in there. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what goes on the end. I don't know if, I don't know. Maybe I should look at the instruction and find out. There's a hook here. I don't know if one of these little nubbies goes here or not. Let's go look at the little instruction paper. That's been correct so far. Well, I don't know. It doesn't say. Install the door curtain onto the rail roller. Tips pull down until you hear a click. I don't know if it... I'm going to assume for now that maybe it doesn't, and I'm just going to start with the first nubby onto a thing. I mean, does that make sense? I don't really know. Anyway, you know, there's 40 of these things. Yeah. There's some dogs over there going crazy. They're not even one of the close neighbors. That must mean they're noisy puppies. Yep. Well, I see why there's so many of these clippy things. Oh, goodness now. Barking dogs. You know, what's also kind of nice about having these screen curtains is when they're down or shut, it kind of limits the ability for people to see in and see what's going on, you know, inside. Well, I like that way better than just rolling them up. That pull's pretty easy. Yeah. Okay, let's get the other one. Well, that looks pretty good. All that's left really now is to put, unfortunately, some Velcro here to hold the sides. You know, that'll hold the sides in place, or the ends in place, and then she should be pretty well good to go. Yeah. Flies. They should put a little handle in the middle so you can... The outside of the roll of tape here says 5.5 and then some symbol. Anybody want to translate that? No? Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to bother to clean the surface of the wood off because what's the point? What I am going to do is after I put this Velcro on, I'm going to staple it to the wood to help it, just to help it stay put, you know. Oh no, I dropped my Velcro. Okay. Oh, that is sticky tape on the back of the Velcro. I'm not kidding. So I'm going to get that as close as I can to the frame, all the way down. I've got a roller that I could roll on this. The problem with the roller is it's got a screw. Anyway, it's not going to work. Okay. Okay, Mr. Dodge Charger man, putting exhaust on a V6 Charger. Go figure. Just make something that is quiet, doesn't sound bad, and make it sound horrible. Okay. Well, at least he's driving quiet. You know, we've got a guy in the neighborhood. He's got one of those old Chevy Trailblazers. And, you know, they're from like the early 2000s, right? The thing with this Trailblazer is it's the SS model with the V8 in it. And the guy has put very loud exhaust, and he likes to show off his very loud exhaust. I'm certain before we're done today, you'll probably get to hear it. Okay, like I said earlier, I'm going to go ahead and put staples on this Velcro because in my mind, that's going to keep it from coming off. If the staple would go all the way in, that is. Okay, this one didn't go all the way in. There, now it's all the way in. How about one at the top? Okay. See, with the other style curtains that I would get, these screen curtains, you would have to unvelcro the ends to roll it up. Well, all that constant pulling on the Velcro would just make it not last very long. Well, now you've got it pulled shut. You just open it. You can just push it to the side. In my mind, that's better. The other side. All right, just about done. Let's put the Velcro bit over here. Okay. It meets up in the middle. And there you have it. Huzzah! Well, now you can see it from the inside. You know, it does look pretty good. And I think that maybe it might last a bit longer than the other ones because I'm not going to have to, oh, remember I was talking about that V8 SS thing. There it is. Anyway, I don't have to unvelcro the ends to roll it up. But I did notice one thing: when the wind blows really hard inwards, it does separate the magnets a little bit, and when it does, it pulls the top apart, so the magnets then don't want to reattach. So, you know, that's spectacular. I think what I'm going to do is try to find some way of putting a thing at the top, I don't know, to help hold the top together when it's going to be shut like this. You know, something like here to just help hold these together, and that'll help the magnets to stay magnetized to each other, I think. You know, at least in my mind anyway. After I did that, went ahead and did something else. Not really sure why I didn't film it. Probably should have filmed it. That would have been nice and boring for y'all to watch. We come out here to the toy hauler. About a week or two ago, I replaced the 4 lead batteries with a couple of really big, nice lithium 280 amp hour batteries. Mounted a toolbox on here to put them in. Of course, did the wiring and grommets and all that, made it nice, bolted it down to the frame. But then the propane tanks were too far back. They were, anyway, too close for me to put the cover back on. So I had to move the propane tanks forward about 1.5 inches. Not worth filming, really. You just take everything off the base plate where they sit on, that's bolted to the frame, just moved it forward about whatever that was, 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches, and put it all back together, and now everything fits nicely. So like I said, we're just getting a few things done around here. Wife's inside the trailer giving it some cleaning, because after King of the Hammers, we haven't cleaned it yet, and well, it was a bit of a dust bowl out there, camping on the lake bed, and some wind came up, and well, it was full of dirt. So she's in there cleaning that up real nice. Got a couple more things to do to that. I don't know if we're going to get into that today. Next, it's this thing. I'm going to go ahead and put this thing back together. We still have all of the plastic to put back in here. You know, there, green plastic up there, the crossbar, the seats, the harnesses. All that's got to go back inside. And I have done some more work to it. I'll kind of talk about it a little later because I want to compare something with you. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing put back together. And in real time, I don't know how long it's going to take, but in your video time, it's probably going to go by pretty quick. Well, it's officially tomorrow now, but the Arctic Cat's back together. It is now able to roam freely around the shop without having its bits all over the floor getting in the way. Okay, you know, it's the last video that we made with the Arctic Cat here. We were working on all of the intake, cleaning all that up, putting new spark plugs in it, and trying to make it run a little better. And, you know, I thought it was running a little better. So there's a viewer out there that, you know, offered some advice, said 100% not fixed, check, you know, valve clearance, check the valve adjustment, if you will, check the compression. All very good, sound ideas. Of course, I didn't do any of that, but I'm not kidding when I tell you this thing has no hours on it. See if I can get this thing cycled over here to show how many hours. Is that the right button? No. Is that the right button? Yeah, there we go. So you can see 76.0 engine hours. Well, that's the time of day, which is not correct. 656 miles total. You know, and that's it. You know, unless somebody has changed the ECU at some point, which probably wouldn't surprise me, but unless somebody's changed the ECU, this is a very low miles, low hours unit for being 10 years old, which is the main reason why I didn't go checking the valves and the compression. I'm going to go ahead and start this. I've got some comparisons for you now, but I'm going to go ahead and start this thing, and just as a reminder, you know, of what it sounds like. Now that is a cold start, and I'm standing right at the exhaust, which used to smell so rich it made your eyes water, and no longer smells that bad, but anyway, you can hear it. It's an interesting idle. Just let that warm up for a bit. And that's pretty much how it does. And that is, like I said a minute ago, that's a cold start, and it started right up. Now when it's a little bit warm, it doesn't want to start right up without a little bit of, just a little bit of throttle. But again, I've got a comparison for you in just a little while, and we can compare it to, let's say, a brand new one that has yet to leave the dealership back in 2014. We'll get back to that in a minute. But it sounds so much better than it did before I started. Now, I didn't run it before it started. It wasn't running very good. This sounds a lot better. It smells tremendously better. But let's go ahead and get this thing turned back off, and then we can talk some more about it and kind of talk about some of the comparisons I've done. Yep. Okay, and for the rest of you out there watching that know these things, of course it was in neutral. You put it in park, I mean, you can start it. It's not going to start as easy, but do not touch the throttle because, well, you're going to end up smoking a belt. Arctic Cat, I don't know what they were thinking. There's no parking brake, so park you would think would work like a car or even like a Polaris. No. Park is pretty well useless. And if you're on a hill, it's even better because, well, you got to rock it to get it back out of park, and you've got, again, no brake. Anyway, whole nother side topic. I'm going to put you on a tripod because I'm getting tired of holding a thing walking around with you. Put you on a tripod and talk to you for a bit. Well, it'll be nice. I can finally put these tools away. They have been out, I'm telling you, for quite a long time, between starting that project there on the Arctic Cat and then getting into the wife's Jeep needing an oil cooler, and then we did a little mini project on Billy Badass over there. Be nice to put the tools away for at least a week. Anyway, like I was saying, I was talking about some sort of comparison between this and maybe a brand new one. So there's a video Oh, for the life of me, I can't remember whose it was. Midway summer sales, mid something. I'll put it on the thing where it came from. You can see where it came from. But it's a dealer. The video's from 2014. And I'm just going to play a clip here in a bit. The video's from 2014, like I was saying. And it's a dealer video of a brand new Wildcat 2014 Wildcat 1000X 4-seater, even the same color as this one here, green. It's prettier because it's brand new. But anyway, he goes through the whole spiel on it, you know, all the specs and all the goodies and things that it can do. And he, towards the end of the video, goes ahead and starts it up. Well, he goes to turn the key, and guess what happens? He drops his 10mm socket. Good grief, you can't lose 10mm sockets. Oh, we're safe, it's an 8mm socket. Anyway, he lost his train of thought, kind of like myself. No, he went to start it, and when he went to start it, he turned the key. It fired and died, just like in the last video in this. Little reminder there of what this did last time we tried to do that. His brand new one there at the dealer's property fired and died, just like this one. So then he jumped in, cranked it, a little bit of throttle, it fired up, a little bit of rough idle. I'm telling you, you can listen to it for yourself, but to me it sounds exactly like this one. And then he goes on to explain why. And, you know, I'm not pretending that I've got a powerhouse here. This is not a hot rod. But he mentioned some sort of different hot cam that's in these X motors, if you will. And that hot cam is the reason why you've got to run 91 octane fuel in it. Don't know how true that is, but although you do have to run 91 octane fuel if you have the 1000 with the X in it, or the X 1000, you know what I'm talking about. You do have to run 91 octane fuel according to the owner's manual, and even on the fuel cap it tells you to. Anyway, he blames it on the hot cam that Wildcat claims to have put in there, or he claims Wildcat put in. But the whole point of all this rambling that I'm doing is just to give you the comparison of the video of a brand new one at a dealer and what this one sounds like. And to me, to my untrained, unprofessional ear, they sound exactly the same.
But let's crank it up for you since we've got this one serviced. We don't always get to do that. Now these have a little hotter cam. This one's brand new. And if you know what Wildcats sound like, you can tell that this one definitely has a hotter cam in it. With that X motor, that 90 plus horsepower, hotter cam, higher compression pistons. Get your little spit on the tack. We don't want to rev it too much. It's a brand new bike, no load on the motor, but I wanted to get you an idea what it sounds like.
Anyway, this isn't me trying to wiggle out of doing extra work. Well, not 100% about that anyway. This is just kind of explaining why I didn't go any further, why I didn't do a compression test besides the fact that I don't have a compression tester, and why I didn't adjust the valves, which is mainly because I just didn't want to. It's only got 70 hours on it. Should not have to adjust valves on something that's only got 70 hours. Not saying it's not a thing, but you know. I'm also finding it very, very difficult to put away tools properly and talk at the same time. I am just not that coordinated. See, I thought I did all these, and there's another one. Where even does it go? There it goes. And y'all know from if you watched my Christmas special from the end of 2023. That tool chest over there is alarmingly organized. Family member actually tried to call BS on me, if you will, about how organized I keep it generally, and he's like, I don't think so. Whatever. I gotta put stuff away. It's gonna make me crazy if I don't. These are all metrics. Why are they metrics? Because I worked on a Jeep and an Arctic Cat, all of which are metric. "17 millimeters." Oh, something else that I found strange. You're not going to be able to pick this up on the camera there, but these are the spark plugs that came out of it. And this is peculiar to me because, like I said, it's only got 70-something hours on it. These spark plugs aren't the same. They're both NGKRs. This one, which came out of the rear cylinder, is a CPR8E. This one that came out of the front cylinder is a CPR8EA9. I'm not making that up. I don't think you're going to get focused on there, but there you go. And the front cylinder one was also missing the doodabber that the spark plug wire clips on. I don't know, but I found that to be quite strange. How can that be from the factory? Something tells me somebody's been in there, and I don't know why. Anyway, none of that matters. Tell me this, did y'all enjoy the music that was playing while we were doing the super fast forward work? I don't know what music it was because I haven't edited the video yet, so I'm curious what music I did. I have no idea what music I've done yet. I have no idea what I'm going to do. And now I'm just rambling to ramble. That's fantastic. That's also a 17, and then a 16, and then a 13, and a 10. Why is that out of order? Do I have another one that I'm missing? Something strange has happened. What is this? That's an 8. That's a 10. What's this? Well, that's a 9. Oh, I see. Okay, somebody put a socket back in the wrong spot. That has happened. And being that I'm the only one here, I'm guessing that somebody was probably me. Anyway, that's fine. Am I going to be able to close the toolboxes for the first time in forever? Yes. Nice. I guess I don't need these. I can throw those away. Yeah, missed. Man, I tell you, it feels good having the tools put away for a change. They've been out for far too long, and that makes me absolutely crazy. So in some other general channel updates, I'm considering doing a Patreon page. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do it, but I'm seriously thinking about it. Some of the family members are saying I should go ahead and give it a try. What could I lose? I have no idea. YouTube's going kind of okay. I still enjoy making the videos, and that's the main reason I do it. But, performance isn't great on YouTube, and of course, YouTube is 100% performance driven. But I'm thinking of go ahead and starting up a Patreon. I'll let you all know if I do that, and it'll be right away. Like, I'm not going to just wait for another video down the road after I've already done to let you know I've done it. As soon as I do it, I'll let you all know I've done it. That way, I'll have done it right when I said I did do it. Did that even make sense? Whatever. I think you understand what I'm saying. But so I'll let you know. But like I said, I'm thinking about it, and if I do it, it's going to be a real low cost. I know that on Patreon, there's, you don't get ads. They're not as picky about the content, so I can probably include some content that I can't do here on the YouTube. And nothing crazy, but, just a little bit more lax on the content rules. I don't know. Like I said, I'm thinking about it. If any of y'all have any feedback on that, if I should, if I shouldn't, let me know. Not saying that'll 100% persuade me one direction or another, but it is also good to hear feedback. I do value everybody's feedback. It means a lot to me. especially when the feedback is relevant and is constructive. Yeah. Anyway, back to the Arctic Cat. Now that we've finished talking about it, I'll bring it back up again. It seems to be running better, and I would take it out for a ride to see how it's running. However, the shocks, they don't do shock things. They're pretty, well, empty, maybe. I'm pretty sure there's no nitrogen in them at all. And the rears show evidence of leaking oil, and actually oil's coming out of the ball valve where on the reservoir. And I know it shouldn't be coming out there. So I was thinking about buying some new shocks for it, and I can't see spending $2,500, $3,000, $4,000 on shocks for this car. I don't think it's worth it. So I was going to have them rebuilt, and I did some checking around, some local suspension people in the area, and it's at least like $700 just to have these things rebuilt for for all four. So I think I'm going to take a stab at it. A good buddy of mine, he lives up in the Idaho land. He has been doing them for a while on his own rigs, and he was telling me that it's pretty easy, and he thinks that I can do it. So I think I'm going to give it a shot. I've got to order some tools and things, but I think I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot and see if I can rebuild it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen, right? I mess it up and have to take it to the suspension guy anyway, or it's only slightly better. Look, some of the tires bounce like it's a 40-year-old car going down the freeway with no shocks on it. Tires just bouncing and knocking and all kinds of stuff coming out of the suspension. Now, I did replace the rear sway bar bushings because those were ruined. And no, I didn't film that. I think I was having a bad day. Didn't want anybody to see it. Anyway, yeah, shocks. Billy Badass behind me is sort of, where is he? Sort of there. Going pretty good. I haven't ridden it since we went ahead and put grips and hand guards and changed the brake master out. It does need the front diff rebuilt, and I do have all the parts to do that. That's something that's probably going to be coming up fairly soon. We're starting to plan some trips, even though it's getting a little bit late in the year. I know we were at King of the Hammers at the end of January, beginning of February, and haven't really been out since. But, it's the way life goes sometimes. But we're going to be getting out here sometime in May. It's April now. Anyway, we're already planning getting out sometime, but we just have the weekends are just stacked with everything, with visits and many different activities already. Anyway, we're getting out sometime in May. I think we're going to plan to get out in June. Anyway, I think we're going to plan to get out in June. I just had a sneezing fit. We've got a big road trip planned for the end of June. I'm sure it's going to be hot. We're going to be going to Joshua Tree, Oatman, Arizona, Grand Canyon, Petrified Forest, Vegas. Yep. I'm going to try to film as much of that as I can. Now, we're not off-roading. We're going to do some hiking. But, it's still adventuring. So, and we can drive on the shoulder. That's off-road, and we can still call it an off-road adventure. I think that'll work just fine. Anyway, getting ready to get back into Project Donkey. I want to get that trailer built. I have plans for King of Hammers next year. My plans are, unless somebody changes them for me, is I'm thinking about volunteering, spend like a week out there, and I want to have the trailer done so I can tow it behind my Sportsman 570, Darth over here, and that way I've got cooler, easy ups, chairs, as I'm volunteering doing course working. Yeah, I did say that right. Anyway, that's the plan. Like I said, we'll see how that goes. But I want to get Project Donkey done. I've got a few other shop things to do, and should be looking forward to a pretty busy summer. Well, I think that's going to do it. Just some things around the place, the screen door, the propane tanks on the trailer that I didn't show you doing, but I showed you after I did it. And then, getting this Arctic Cat back together. Let me know what you think on the comparison between the way this thing sounds and runs now to the brand new one from the video that I've put in the thing. Upcoming work. Yep, a little bit of channel update here and there. But I appreciate you hanging out with me today. It means a lot to me when you're all here hanging out. It gives me the warm and cozy feeling. If you're not subscribed, please go ahead and do that. Like the video, all the things. It means a lot to me. I promise you it really does mean a lot to me. But I guess in the meantime, y'all ride safe, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye now.